You need to redefine what your strategy is, meaning how are you going to win? What will your competitive advantage be when AI is blowing all the moats up? So what you thought your competitive advantage was, you need to ask, is it still valid?
Welcome to Tip Top Grow Up Your Business with Metronomics. Join me, Shannon Susko, and Metronomics certified coach, Jed Roberts.
We'll be talking to business thought leaders, entrepreneurs, CEOs, and business team coaches who have all taken the journey to grow up their businesses to their tip top.
We'll be sharing strategies, systems, stories, on how you can grow your company up at the speed you want.
If you're searching for your path to the tip top and feel your time is running out, then this podcast is for you.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Tip Top podcast, where we're exploring with high growth leaders, how to grow on purpose using the Metronomics system and many war stories, thought leaders, and lots of great information. Today's guest is someone I'm super excited to speak with because I just finished reading Geoff Woods' book about AI-driven leadership. And I've read a lot of AI books. And I'm going to say for the last couple of years, I've been reading AI books. And maybe a lot of people don't know this. My background is in computer science. So I know AI has been around for a long time. But we're here to talk with Geoff about how can we leverage it in our day-to-day thought leadership of our own businesses. And I'm not going to take anything away more from Geoff other than welcome, Geoff. Thank you for being here. We're going to dig into your background, your experience, and I'm super excited to speak with you directly around this hot topic.
It's a pleasure to be here, Shannon. Thank you.
So let's jump right in. First question is, I really want you to think about a time when, in your leadership experience where, it was a bit chaotic. You went from a chaotic spot, hitting a peak, but, tie it in because I know you didn't start in, AI as far as I understand on my background, but what led you there? What were the moments and things that weren't working when you realized, wow, I've got to make a difference? What happened? How did that experience push you down this path of AI powered leadership?
Right after I sold my stake in my last company, which for those of you that have ever read the book, The One Thing, I built that company. And so I was the face of that brand, scaled it up over 7 years, sold my stake in the business back to Gary and Jay, who wrote The One Thing. The next morning, I woke up deeply depressed because when I was a kid, I was bullied pretty significantly. And I grew up most of my life hating myself, but I was never given the tools on how to actually heal trauma. And so I found ways of coping with it, which that became success. If I thought if I could just be more successful than other people, people would respect me and like me. And it really drove me. And when I was the face of The One Thing, my gosh, did it feed every part of that 7-8-year-old boy in me that was still
Yeah.
and I was not conscious of this until the next morning. I woke up and went, oh my gosh, I'm no longer the face of The One Thing. Who am I? The mistake I had made, Shannon, was that I had attached my identity to my job rather than aligned my identity to my job. And I think this is a mistake a lot of senior leaders are making. Like they've chased the title, the status, the money, the things that come with it. But I realized you are you. You are not what you do. And that led me on a 6-month journey of deep discovery and healing that then opened way bigger opportunities that I could have ever imagined. My senior year of college, I was given a piece of advice, which is don't ask what's the right job. Ask what are the skills I can master that are so valuable, they'll serve me no matter where I go. That's why I got into business with Gary and Jay with The One Thing. I wanted to learn to think and act like a CEO. I mean, I have a chance to partner with a multi-billionaire. I'm going to learn all his models and systems for driving growth of companies. And boy, did I learn some skills, because all of a sudden I was going into growth to Fortune 500 companies, facilitating strategic planning. And I mastered this ability to ask the right questions. But
Right.
as I looked to this next chapter, I thought, who do I want to become?
Yeah.
What are the skills that I could master next that would serve me no matter where I go? And an opportunity was created to step in house as a chief growth officer for a large public company called Jindal Steel and Power. This is about 100,000 people organization based in
Yeah.
India,
Yeah.
operations globally. I had been the coach to the chairman of the board when I was with the One Thing, and when he called me and asked if I'd come in house, I really saw this as an opportunity to develop more skills. Like, how do you drive
Yeah.
strategy and
Yeah.
execution and people alignment and deploy technology across a large multinational in a way that will actually drive growth? And I wrote a job description that would force me to become that person very fast, or I would fail and get fired.
Yeah.
So I threw
Yeah.
myself in the deep end. It really did work out though. The market cap went from 750 million to 12 billion in a few years.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I became an elevated version of myself along the way. It was December of 22 when I saw ChatGPT for the first time.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, one, I was blown away. But I think like
Yes.
a lot of leaders, I think we've all seen it, and but a lot of us thought, "I'm so busy, I'll get to it later," or you know what, "I'll delegate it to my tech team." But then I remembered, focus
Yeah.
on the skills that are worth mastering. They'll serve you
Yes.
no matter where you go.
Yeah.
And so I just made a commitment to dive in, but really quickly when I was using it, I realized I was asking myself the wrong questions. I was asking,
Yeah.
"How do I use this to write a better email?" And it felt like a waste of time. But I started
Yeah.
asking different questions, which was,
Yes.
how might I use this to enhance my ability to think strategically? Because I know as a
Yeah.
leader, your ability to think strategically is the difference between growing your business or going out of business. And once I
Agreed.
figured out how to turn the tables and instead of asking AI questions, getting AI to interview me to
Yeah.
enhance my ability to think strategically,
Yeah.
that was
Amazing.
that was the game changer, Shannon,
Yeah.
and I ended up showing the chairman of the board what I was doing, and I made the pitch that we drive it through the whole company, and he asked that I lead it up. Little problem, not technical, didn't really know anything about AI, but something I learned from Gary Keller, my old partner, anytime you're hitting the ceiling of achievement, you're just missing a person. So who can I get in a relationship with that could enable me to drive this through the company? That became Google. And I started living at their headquarters in Delhi. I learned a lot from them and started driving it through the company. But I realized there was a bigger problem, which was every leader knows this is the future, but they have no
Yeah.
idea where to start and they think they're falling
Yes.
behind. And everybody was so focused on the tech, but the tech is
Yeah.
what makes
Yeah.
the difference. It's the leader who harnesses it, and no
Yep.
one was
And
showing leaders.
leverages it. Yeah.
How do you start in a way that matters? And so I
Yeah.
resigned from Jindal Steel. I said, I'm going to write a book about this. I'm going to build a company on this. And I wrote The AI Driven Leader. It hit number one in the world. And I have built a company called AI Leadership to create a network of AI driven leaders who come together to centralize our knowledge so we collaborate to stay ahead of the competition.
Yeah. No, and I think that's why I was attracted to this book because even as a CEO plus leadership team coach, and even in our coaching community at Metronomics, we were, looking for the guidance for our leaders, right? For our leaders to get them number one, obviously educated, number two, using a solution that's going to support what they do every day, right? What they do every day. And when we're talking CEO plus leadership team, and that thank you for being here, everyone, listening. It's all about how do we leverage it for what we do every day, for how we think every day. And so AI driven leader, like you had me, right? And working within my own clients, honestly, I'll say this, maybe my clients listening and might think differently, but honestly, when I brought your book and I've got all my clients, it's either on their list, they've read it, or they're reading it, but they're almost tired of reading AI books because I've been like going, okay, here's a framework for your business and your teams to implement. Here's the next thing. I think they were tired of me bringing AI something, but I was like, you need to read this book. This is going to help you with your thought leadership in your organization, thinking strategy and beyond. So I want to thank you for this book, but I also want to talk to you a little bit more about, I love that it was AI driven leadership, AI driven leaders. When you came up with that, what does that actually mean? How's it different from, the way most businesses are run today? Or give me a little, because it totally makes sense. I've read the book, but share with our audience, what does that mean? What will the experience be?
Well, I have a fundamental belief, which is that with the right leadership, AI will enhance you. It will not replace you. And I
Yeah.
wanted to keep the human at the center. So it's
Yes.
not about AI, it's about an AI driven leader because
Yeah.
AI is a tool that can enhance your leadership. It can enhance your
Yes.
humanity if you know how to stay in the driver's seat
Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
thought leader with AI as your thought partner. So that was fundamental. And there's a bigger vision behind this. I am on a mission to creating a new category of leader, which is the AI driven leader. Right now, when I look at leaders, most leaders have created and tolerated a world where people spend most of their time doing three things, Shannon: checking email, Slack, or Teams, sitting in meetings, and their to do list.
Yes.
Most of which is all the 80% tasks in the business that
Yeah.
only drive 20% of the results. And then there's some 20% priorities sprinkled
Yeah.
in. They are
And
busy
other
every
people can do.
correct. They're busy every day. And then they look up at the end of the day going, I was busy. What
Yeah.
did I get done?
Yeah.
And then when they're at home with their family, they're not with their family because they're thinking about the important priorities at work they didn't get done. And they
Right.
sacrifice what matters most.
Yes.
Over a lifetime, that's what we call a life of regret. And I also believe that most people are still acting like industrial workers, showing up to work on time, taking direction from a boss, doing something repetitively with minimal error with maximum efficiency. But if you actually study history, what you realize is we stopped acting like humans and started acting like machines in the Industrial Revolution because we
Yes.
augmented ourselves to work at an assembly line. Still how a lot of people work today, except I also believe a machine is better at acting like a machine than a human is. And AI is going to augment or automate so much of that tactical stuff that people do, which scares people, but it's also a huge opportunity with the right leadership. And
Yeah.
this is what an
Yeah.
AI driven leader does. An AI driven leader looks at every person and says, every single one of you has strengths. We are going to harness your strengths, focus it on the 20% priorities of your role in alignment with the goals of the company, and use AI to enhance you because it can never
Yeah.
replace you. But this all comes down to the leader, their ability to cast that vision, their ability to be a practice leader of the technology, and their ability to lead that change so that we 10x or 100x the impact of every
Yeah.
employee. That's real. And it starts with you.
So let me ask you this. So, I think in the beginning, like I've been on this train for a while on AI, and I was looking for like frameworks. I was looking for things to, good education programs, like all the things to get my leaders on the train with me, and so we could all learn together as things progress, as our thinking progressed. Um, how do you see, like anyone listening who may not be on the train yet, maybe not on the AI train, maybe haven't been there yet? What's your advice for getting, not only the leaders going, but getting the teams to trust and adopt AI rather than resist it? I'm sure you get asked this question all the time, but I just thought there's a mind shift that happens. I'd love to get your feedback on all of that.
Yeah. So let's hit them in buckets. Bucket one, the leader. Bucket two, the teams. I operate from the premise that AI will enhance you, not replace you. And we can go through use cases where I will prove this out. For leaders, your job as a leader is to prepare your company to survive a variety of potential futures. And in spite of that ambiguity of what the future holds, be prepared to win regardless. Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google, came out and said that he believes that everything you know about your business is going to change within the next 5 years. Not 10, 5.
Yeah, 5. It's like that's no time.
And by the way, he said that a year ago.
Yeah, so it's
So
now
the
4.
clock's ticking. But when I heard this, I'm going, okay, my job is to prepare my company to survive. You're telling me there is a tidal wave that is coming, and it's literally going to change everything I do about my business. My personal self-talk was, if I allow myself to bury my head in the sand and not acknowledge this, not acquire some knowledge around it and start taking action, I am abdicating my responsibility as a
Yeah.
leader of this company. I believe that. You get to choose if you will subscribe to that level of thinking or not. That's number one. Number two, there was an article that came out from McKinsey last month that said, guess what the number one predictor of ROI with AI is? What do you think it is, Shannon?
Number one predictor of ROI with AI is probably the time the leader spends on it.
The CEO's direct involvement.
I didn't know that answer, but I'm glad I was just thinking because that's been my whole thing, Geoff, is getting the CEOs just comfortable with it, learning because I think it's all tech, where it's really about enhancing how they think.
And this is where the mindset shift is for leaders. The mistake they're thinking this means they have to become a technical expert. You do not. All I'm going to say is you need to learn enough to be able to cast an enhanced vision for the future because the
Yeah,
future just changed. You need to recast what your vision is. Two, you need to redefine what your strategy is, meaning how are you going to win? What will your competitive advantage be when AI is blowing all the moats up? So what you thought
yeah,
your competitive advantage was, you need to ask, is it still valid? And three, how do we, based on all of that, based on our new vision, based on our our refined strategy, how am I going to lead our people through the change? You
yeah,
need to acquire enough knowledge to cast vision, strategy, and lead the change. That's it. Then you can delegate stuff to a tech team or to consultants on the outside, but you
yeah,
cannot
to figure it
abdicate
out.
your
Yeah,
responsibility as a leader. Here's the problem. No one has shown them how to go from 0 to 1
yeah,
until now.
yeah. I agree. I totally agree.
They're using it to write better emails. And in the AI driven leader, I showed them how to enhance their strategic thinking and decision making, which is a game changer.
Yeah, no, it's why I loved reading this book because of the time we spend working on strategy. Yeah, in Metronomics, right? The strategy system, three head way, it's X amount of questions, and then it's a step by step to continuously validate your strategy day over day, week over week, month over month, quarter over quarter, and learning from you in this book is, creating this thought leadership, not only in that process, but in the day to day. And I got to tell you, I took from the book. I was like, went for a walk on the beach over the weekend, and I was like, I'm just gonna go have a chat with AI around, and it was really around just putting a vision document together. I just wanted to give it a go, and I leveraged a framework I know, but then I asked, as you do, you ask your thought partner, your AI thought partner to interview you, right? That's what I did. And it was so fun to come, and I was just walking and talking along like for a really long time. And then after a while, I just, walked a little longer, thought, I just was, lost in my thoughts. And the funny thing was, I mean, you'll laugh, is that, I was using ChatGPT, they're like, are you still there? I was like,
It's
"Oh,
great.
yeah, I am.
That's
I'm
great.
still here. Sorry, I was just thinking," because of the responses, just kept me thinking. And, what you talk about is, I totally believe the CEO, the leadership team, everything we do around Metronomics is to move them to be working on their business, be driving the thought leadership of validating the strategy, continuously validating the strategy, mindset. It's a mindset. It's not a thing. It keeps evolving, right? I never use the word change, which is really interesting. I only use the word evolve. And that's because it's always evolving. And even what we've learned in the last couple of years around how to use an agent, how to use, with chatbots, right? And then, what's the next level? But, part of it is, learning, right? What would you say to that team? Where we started was getting a team to trust and adopt AI, right?
Yeah.
And getting the mind shift. So I've watched my teams who, I introduced a little bit, we learned, their homework was every day. They had to just go start getting, I didn't care what age that they're using, start using it, right? Start challenging it. And then we went to engineering, understanding the context of engineering prompts. Then we went to we were sort of working through this, and I'm no expert at it, but we're just trying to learn. Once you get that mind shift, what's the, as a CEO, as a leader, what are some things that, CEOs, should be thinking about coming up? What are their steps to
Yes.
actually, move this forward?
Yes.
Other
So
than reading your book, I'd highly recommend that.
So we did research on this
Yeah.
because the core of our business is an executive network of AI driven leaders called the Collective.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a or you're a C-level leader that you need to acquire certain knowledge to stay ahead so you can define vision,
Yeah.
strategy, and lead the
Yes.
chain, who the heck do you have that conversation with? That's what this is. So
Yes.
membership based. Our promise to these people is that you will always know exactly what steps to take next and you will never fall behind.
Yeah.
Therefore, we needed to be able to give them context on what to do next. So we did
Yeah.
research and we came out with an organizational benchmark that you can take that shows where you fall on 5 different levels of maturity and what specifically do you need to do next, which anybody can take this if you visit
Yes.
aileadership.com. It's on there. You literally takes you like 5 minutes to fill it out and our AI system will actually analyze it and spit out a report for you. Level 1 is just about foundational competence. The mistake is I see a lot of companies, their individual contributors or their mid-level managers are the ones who are kind of tinkering with this. Mm-mm. This is a leadership priority. This needs to live. Great that those people are tinkering, and leaders
Yeah.
need to lead. So
Yeah.
this is about you and your executive team, maybe board, maybe some key champions throughout, just starting to figure out how do we use this in a way that matters and makes us better at what we do. At a
Yes.
leadership level, that is all strategic thinking and decision making. So you need to get those people trained. You're selecting the right large language model that meets your privacy provisions. You're getting your governance process in place. Like you knock those dominoes,
Yes.
that's what you need to do to knock the first domino down of level 1. Then level 2 is you start to go for early adopters. This is where I'm looking
Yeah.
across the organization within departments. Who are those people on the teams who would really grab onto this and love to be early adopters of the technology and will be comfortable failing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Failing their way forward. And you train them and you start to learn from them. You're also figuring out how do we start to identify the use cases internally where we could use this to drive efficiency or more value to our customers. Once you work all the kinks out there, you now get to go to level 3, which is strategic expansion. Like you've vetted out what works. Now we're starting to strategically expand it through about half the people, continuing to drive operational efficiency, continuing to look at our service offering, our product offering. Once you work those kinks out, then level 4 is optimized organization. That's where we are going to
Amazing.
optimize the current state. Then level 5 is we are transforming for future state.
What's the, I gotta ask you a question. I love, you laying that out.
Yeah.
I can see it step by step. Where do most organizations get stuck on that journey?
Level one, getting started is the hardest part. Every person listening to this already has too much to do and not enough time.
Right.
And now you're saying you got to learn AI. There's a learning curve here.
Yes.
And your success with AI depends on your ability to communicate effectively with it, just like in a marriage. You don't
Yeah.
communicate effectively with your spouse, you don't have a very good relationship. Same thing
Yeah.
here. And the average person is an average communicator, but all of a sudden they have to become a great communicator. So I've realized there are 3 high-level skills that if
Yeah.
somebody can acquire these 3 things, well, they'll be a rocket ship. Number 1, can they identify a strategic use case? Not a tactical one, not the
Right.
80% task,
No.
help me write a better email, do this research for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
That likely does not drive 80% of the value in your company. You're going to go through the learning curve. You better make it matter. Can
Yeah.
you identify a strategic use case, a 20% priority that'll drive 80% of the results? And I'll share some examples coming up here shortly. That's step 1. Step 2, can you communicate effectively with AI? I have a
Yeah.
framework for how I
Yeah.
prompt called CRIT. CRIT, context, role, interview, task. You do not need another framework for prompting. Just take what I just taught you. I will walk you through use cases of how to use it. It is so valuable. I literally have it on a sticky note on my desk just to remind me.
I'm gonna
Literally
put that
grab a
on my
sticky
desk.
note and write context, role, interview, task.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
And then so we identify a strategic use case. We communicate effectively with CRIT. 3, can we stay in the driver's seat as the thought leader? Here's
Yeah.
what that means. When AI gives you an answer, you don't trust it. You don't copy and paste it. You ask, what do I think about this? How do
Yeah.
I know it's true? What do I
Yeah.
like about it? What do I not like
Yeah.
about it? And you make it a conversation. You can do those 3 things. That's how you get started.
Well, I love how specific that was because in asking that question about, we get through step 1, right? And we've seen it. You've seen it, I've seen it with leaders. If we get leaders through step 1, that level 1, it just starts to move, right? You start moving, right? The curiosity. The next, like I love going here's what I just tried. Oh my gosh, and it's why I was excited to get my clients, the leaders that I'm working with, and I want all leaders actually to read your book, AI Driven Leadership, because of the position you present in how, like, what our role is as leaders, right? And what it can do to enhance that role. We're there for strategic thinking. We're there to create value for our organization today and in the future. So when we think about the future, and we're sort of on the train, give me some feedback on, and maybe this is a unfair question, but I'm sure you've thought about it. I'm sure people have asked you about this. So when we write a book, it's for a point in time. We know AI's going on pretty fast here, moving on really fast, growing, changing. What's your thoughts about the AI driven leader as time goes forward? So we're going to go through those levels with ourselves and with our teams. And you've talked a little bit about it. Is like, how do you stay on top of it as it continues to move? I mean, things are at, like, our minds have been blown in the
Yeah.
last, months, years, right? It's going to continue.
Yeah. At a high level, I believe trying to have all the knowledge is how you lose with the technology. It's just moving too fast and it's
Yeah.
generative by nature. So like literally you write a prompt and hit enter and open a new window and write the same prompt and hit enter, you're going to get a different result because AI already improved itself. That's how fast
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
iterate. Um, I believe the only way to win is to surround yourself with the right people,
Yeah.
ask the right questions, and tap into collective knowledge. I mean, this was a huge aha for me. It was a strategic decision. We stopped doing 80% of what we were doing to narrow the whole
Yeah.
focus of our company on building that network of the AI-driven
Yes.
collective based on
Yes.
this. Here's what I think this means though. I think in the industrial world, we learned a skill once and we applied it forever.
Yeah.
I have been in finance, therefore I'm in finance. I have been in marketing, therefore I'm going to climb the ladder in marketing. This is going to shift us from learn a skill once, apply it to ever. Learn a skill once, apply it forever to learn constantly, thrive continuously. AI is going to augment or automate more and more and more of what we do. That can scare a lot of people, and I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if you realize that the way to expand your life and your possibilities is to actually let go of most of what you do, hold on to the core 20% that drives 80% of the results, and then grow and evolve and acquire new skills, which is what we've done throughout humanity. Evolution is woven into our DNA. It's why we are who we are. That's us actually tapping into our humanity at the most fundamental level and expanding who we can become.
Yes. Yeah.
Can I share a use case to make this real for
Yeah, please.
your ability to think strategically is the difference between growing your business or going out of business. There are things every week that you have to wrestle with mentally that matter. And let's think about how you do it. You do it based on your ability to recall the information you've learned and apply
Yeah.
it. That's how we do it. Now let's put this into context. Shannon, how many books do you think you've read in your lifetime?
Oh my gosh. This is gonna sound crazy, but like more than 1,000 books, thousands. I read. Yeah, I read. I'm a crazy business book junkie. Like this week, I've read 4 books.
Awesome. What percent of that collective knowledge do you think you can recall and apply right now?
Probably like if I'm thinking about this, like I think about what I do every day, which is Metronomics growth operating system is why I've read all those books.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna say like 10%, less than 10%.
cool. I would say, let's put it this way. That's one of the higher answers I've gotten. Most people will say to me 1% or like 0.1% or a fraction of
I
that.
only say it because if you look at the Metronomics growth operating system, we've plugged in so many things, like hundreds and books, like have impacted this growth operating system. And it's why I still read today. It's
Good.
why I'm actually talking to you is because AI driven leadership is going to impact Metronomics growth operating system. So
I appreciate
that's
it.
yeah. Yeah.
So here's the point. You've been wildly successful and you did it being able to recall the minority of what you've learned, which is the minority of the information of the world. Now think about these AI models. They have been
Oh,
trained on anywhere from 200 to 500 million books worth of data.
isn't it more than that?
It's getting that's only 2% of the information in the world. It's actually getting more
That's
every
why I
day.
love it.
Yep. It can recall 100% of that data
It's
and
amazing.
dig through all
It's
those
so
pages
amazing.
for your specific use case and start generating a response in under
It's
a
amazing.
second. So
Yeah.
this is where you are thought leader, AI is thought partner. So here's where, if we want to
Yeah. I
contextualize it, you got stuff you need to solve every single week. Old way of doing it, do it on your own mindset, your own processing power, your gut intuition. New way, harness that staying in the driver's seat, but tap into this processing powerhouse that is AI. Here is my framework for prompts: context, role, interview, task, crit. You give it context, you assign it a role, meaning you tell it the expert you want it to be.
Yes, that's the thing I loved.
Huh? Then you
Yes.
turn the tables and say, interview me. Ask
Yeah.
me 1 question at a time, up to 3 questions to gain
It's
deeper
so
context.
good,
Also,
right?
you can accomplish a task. Here is a real story. I sat down with a group of CEOs and I asked, what are the biggest problems you're facing right now that if we could solve them in the room would unlock a new level of growth? That question was designed because it would force an exec to focus on a 20% priority. And one guy looks at me and he goes, I got a good one. I run a manufacturing company here in the US. I leased all this equipment from a company in Japan. But things have shifted in the market. The debt structure is just killing us. We're going to go bankrupt if it doesn't get restructured. And I'm thinking, is that a 20% priority? Oh, yeah, let's dive in. What have you done? And he looks at me and says, I feel like we've tried everything. And he lists 5 strategies he has deployed. None of it has worked, he says, because this is a public company in Japan and the board is refusing to restructure the debt because they think they'll lose face in Japanese society. And he looks at me, Shannon, and he goes, I have no next step. We're probably going out of business. Can AI help? Here's the other sticky note I keep on my desk. It says, how can AI help me do this? Because that's how you come up with 20% use cases. Do what you're already doing, see the sticky note. Well, how can AI help me do this? And then you see the other sticky note that says context, role, interview, task. So I literally pulled up, in this case, ChatGPT and wrote context, role, interview, task. I put the structure in, then I fill in the gaps. Here was the actual prompt. Context. I'm a manufacturing CEO. I leased all this equipment from a company in Japan. Things have shifted in the market. The debt's now killing us. We're going to go bankrupt if it doesn't get restructured. We have deployed these 5 strategies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. None of it has worked because this is a public company in Japan that holds the debt. It's gone all the way to the board, and the board is refusing to restructure the debt because they think they'll lose face in Japanese society. That was just the context portion, folks. Yes, this is not Google. Roll. Your role is to act as an investment banker with deep expertise in restructuring debt. Interview me. Ask me 1 question at a time, up to 3 questions to gain deeper context so you can accomplish the task of generating 5 non-obvious strategies I could deploy to get the board to restructure the debt.
That's why I love it. That's why I love this framework.
So here's what happens. AI turns the tables. And as an investment banker with deep expertise in restructuring debt, and because I said Japanese board, it also tapped into 2,000 years of Japanese culture to ask, do you have any relationships with any other influential executives in Japan that this board would respect? I look at the CEO and he goes, oh my gosh, I would have never asked that. I actually do. And then it asked 2 more questions as surgical and strategic as that. And it came back and said, here's your 5 non-obvious strategies. Number 1 on the list, the Saving Face Consortium. It said, you have enough relationships with the right people in Japan. Approach them to acquire your debt. Give them really favorable terms. Your debt will get restructured. The board will save face. Shannon, I look at him. His whole body language has shifted.
Yeah.
And I can actually see he's holding back tears. And he looks at the people in the room and says, I haven't slept in 90 days.
Oh, yeah. No, but for sure.
He goes, I've literally been making peace with the fact that we are going out of business. And in less than 10 minutes, I actually have hope. 2 months later, my phone rings. And it's a text from him. And it says, the ball is moving. This is actually going to get done.
Yeah. What an impact.
So let's fly up to 10,000 feet. Most people are using AI like a smart Google to ask questions to, or an assistant to help them with tasks like writing a better email. Here's the good news. Yes, that can bring value. And I'm asking you to raise your standards. I'm asking you to focus on the 20% priorities that drive 80% of the results. So literally, you can think right now, what is the biggest problem I'm facing in my business, period.
Yeah.
And then ask, how can AI help me do this? And then open up whatever AI tool you want and put context, role, interview, task in the context window.
I'm going to say that all day.
Put it there and then ask, what context do I need to give AI? And give it tons of detail.
Yeah.
Quality
You
in,
can
quality
just go on and on.
Go. Roll. Who's the expert you want it to be? Because it's going to go through 200 to 500 million books worth of data to stimulate that person. And as that person with that context, have it interview you by asking 1 question at a time, up to 3 questions to gain deeper context so it can then accomplish the task. Tell it what you want it to do. Do you want it to generate 5 non-obvious strategies? Do you want it to tell you what it likes about your business plan, what it doesn't like about your business plan, and the top 3 changes you need to make to your business plan? This is this is it. This is
Yeah.
it.
I totally agree with you. And I hope if anyone listening, you walk away with the action to take is think about your biggest thing you're dealing with. Apply Geoff's framework. It's so fantastic. It's one of the first things I did, right? It's one of the first things I did because I was like, okay, I got to do it. I wasn't using it that way. And so it just changed my whole thinking.
And this is just going from 0 to 1, which this alone is probably starting to blow some minds. Can I take it up a notch?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's going to keep going like that, right? It's going to keep going. And I don't want anyone listening to miss 0 to 1. You got to get on the train for 0 to 1, right?
Here's where this became I said AI will enhance you, not replace you. So number 1, just
Yeah.
think that use case, how crazy that is. I started doing that, and then I thought, okay, how can I enhance me even further? Well, I've been a firm believer that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I believe in surrounding yourself with the right people,
Yeah.
asking the right questions. So I realized as the founder and CEO of AI Leadership, it's lonely at the top and I don't have an AI board or I don't have a board. And I want to create a new category of leader. I've got a huge vision for 10 years and making the AI driven leader
Yeah.
this
Love it.
category of leader. But who's going to guide me? So I went to ChatGPT, context role interview task, told it everything about the business and how it's only at the top and how I wish I could have an advisory board custom built to help me. Its role was to act as an expert in assembling boards custom built to augment the strengths and weaknesses of a CEO. And I gave it more context on what I thought my strengths and weaknesses were, had it interview me one question at a time. It got to ask as
Yeah.
many questions as it wanted to dive deeper into what my strengths and weaknesses were. Its task was to tell me the top skills I would want to recruit to a board if I were really to assemble one, which it did. And I reviewed it and I agreed with probably 80% of it. And I
Yeah.
said, great.
Yeah.
Now I want you to research famous people that actually exemplify those skills. And once
Yeah.
I agreed on it, I actually had it create a personality profile for every one of those people
Beautiful.
so I could build my own AI board so I could have those people advise me today. So Steve Jobs is on my board for vision and product design,
Yeah.
but he's not allowed to ask me questions on being a husband, a father, or a leader. Warren Buffett is on my board for long-term planning and risk mitigation. Here's the wild one. My future self is on the board.
Yeah. That's cool.
I have a
That's
persona of
cool.
person I want to become 30 years in the future so I can talk with the person I want to become today.
Yeah.
The stuff
Yeah.
my board calls out to me is mind blowing, mind
Yeah.
blowing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been mind blowing. So this whole like I've loved. I could talk to you all day actually. Love your energy, love your thoughts, love how you just simply put it together. And that's why your book was so well received by the leaders I'm working with, the leaders who have read it. It's why it's number one. Congratulations on that. Here's what I want. One of my last questions I want to ask you is, okay, so we've talked for about 40 minutes easily. What I'm now a leader, a CEO, finishing off listening to this podcast. What's the very first simple step they should take next?
I want you to grab 2 sticky notes and a Sharpie. On sticky note number 1, you will write, how can AI help me do this? On sticky note number 2, you will write context, role, interview, task, and you will stick them on your desk or stick them on the computer. And for those of you listening on audio, I'm actually holding up my 2 sticky notes. I
Yeah.
wrote the book and I have these 2 sticky notes
Yes, because
on
they're
my
going to be
desk.
right in front of you. I have them on my laptop because I'm always on the go and they're on either side of my trackpad.
And here's why this matters. I was reviewing my financial statements one month And while I was opening it up, I looked down and I saw the sticky note that said, how can AI help me do this? I'm like, how can AI help me review my financial statements? And then I saw context role interview task. I'm like, well, let's give it a go. And I typed in context role interview task and I filled in the blanks. Context, here's my financials. Role, you're a strategic CFO who's really good at telling a CEO the top non-obvious insight they don't know about their business based on the financials that they probably should know about their business, but they're terrible at reading financials. Interview me, ask me one question at a time, up to 5 questions to gain deeper context about our performance. Your task is then to give me the top 5 non-obvious insights I should know about my business. That was such a game changer that I started doing
Yeah.
it. This weekend, I gave
Everybody should do that.
I gave my financials to my AI board.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a
Yeah.
different level.
Okay, the next time we talk, I'm gonna have an AI board too. I'm gonna replay that section. I loved how you just did that. I'm having one too. I
Oh, yeah.
love it. That is just I love the future self is on your board. I mean, these are things that a lot of people just have a hard time thinking about until you take that first step.
Yes.
So take the first step, get the post-it notes, get them out on your desk, have them in front of you all the time as leaders. This will keep us like focused on what matters.
Yes. Can I point some resources to help them?
Yeah,
So,
please. That was going to be my next question.
yeah. So number 1, the book is The AI-Driven Leader. I would strongly encourage you just to get it for the team. You guys read it. You guys apply it. It's literally changing the game, which is a huge, it's extremely meaningful to me.
It's huge. It's impactful. It makes you think
Yeah.
differently. I'm so
And
grateful
here's what
for
I'll
this
say.
book.
If you buy the book, it's available Amazon, Audible,
Yeah.
Kindle. If you send the receipt to book@aileadership.com, what I'm going to do is my team will send you back. I have prompts throughout this thing. We have compressed it into a prompt library that's at the back of the book. We'll actually just send you the PDF right
Oh,
away.
I would love that because I was like,
Yep.
I listen to books, and
Yep.
so then I was like, I should just go get the book, actually,
Yes.
get the
So
hard
we'll
book and
send you
leave
the
that on my desk.
library. That's super helpful. Then you'll also automatically be on our newsletter. We write an email for leaders that don't read email. And we have over a 60% open rate because every week we are sharing a real use case of a real leader who
Oh,
used
love it.
and we include the prompt. This just gets you started.
Yeah.
Then if you're interested in learning more about the collective, aileadership.com, we specifically focus on working with C-level leaders. Most are non-technical. What unites us is they are all committed to harnessing this technology to enhance their
Yeah.
vision, their strategy, and we collaborate as we lead the change forward
Love it.
so that we can
Love it.
create a
Love
new
it.
category of leader, which is the AI-driven leader.
Well, amazing. And thank you for answering the last question before I ask the last
There you
question.
go.
So this has been incredible. I was looking forward to this for a while. As even after reading the book, got more excited. After trying what you shared in the book, with the post-its, even more excited. So thank you for being here. Thank you for our audience. This will be definitely a sought after podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great rest of your day, week, and hopefully we connect soon.
Yeah, and honestly, Shannon, thank you to you. I mean, when I wrote the book, I remember asking, it's not about will people read it, it's will they then turn around and share it. And the fact that it made such a big impact on you, but you have now turned around and started sharing it with the people that you care about, that means the world to me. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. I know what it takes to write a book. I know what it takes to make an impact with a book, and this has huge impact. So if you're listening, take the actions that Geoff has recommended. Take action. That's why you listened in. So thank you for sharing from the very beginning. Geoff, you opened up really strongly, drew me in really deep. And now I walk away with some really, really good advice on how to actually move forward with my own business and with the CEOs and leaders I work with. Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Tip Top is brought to you by Metronomics.
The
find out more about Metronomics and how this proven 20-year-old system will save you time and money as you grow up your business,
visit metronomics.com. That is metronomics.com.
share your thoughts on today's episode in the comments and suggest topics you'd love us to explore the next time.
Also search for Metronomics in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else that great podcasts are found.